Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am Stephanie Smith with my friend Libby Magliolo, and we are talking with you today about a time when you failed, specifically a question that you may encounter in an interview. This is part of our series where we are talking all things job search, interview, resume prep, all the things to get you your next job with as little pain as possible. So today we're talking about the dreaded question, tell me about a time when you failed. None of us like to talk about our failures. It's not our finest points. It's not what we want to dwell on. But this question is really more of a question about self-awareness and growth. First, being self-awareness. You need to be able to identify a time when you failed. This screens out people that are not able to identify a time when they fail and will say something about how they had some raving success, which is not the point. It requires a little bit of self-reflection and humility and understanding of, that we all mess up, right? And we all make mistakes and we all have things not go the way we'd like them to. But the other side of it is this growth opportunity. So ideally, when you're answering this question, you want to be talking about a time when you tried something, it didn't work out, or you did something that did not go the way you had planned. And what did you learn from it? How did you pull something out of the fire on the back end? How did you come back to the same problem and tackle it a new way for a better result? Or maybe it really was like a final failure, and it was something that you really needed to then take your life in a different direction or your career in a different direction. But you really want to think about what is rising out of the ashes of this failure, because that is the story that you're trying to communicate. And that is what the person on the other side of the table is interested in hearing. They want to know, what do you do with failure? How do you overcome failure? How do you grow from failure? And how do you learn from failure? Because that's going to be important in any job. We're all going to continue to have moments when we do not succeed. We're not always going to have things go our way. And how you handle that in the past is very indicative of whether you're going to handle it with grace in the future, whether you're going to turn it into an opportunity in the future, and whether good things are going to come from it or not. Obviously, the other side of this is, dwelling on the failure, the downside, blaming other people, all of those negative things. As with everything in the interview, you want to keep this positive. So think about the growth, think about what arose, what opportunities came out of the other side of it, and how you capitalized on them, and keep things positive. So that's my 2 cents. Libby, I'd love yours as well.
Yeah, agreed on all fronts. I think what you mentioned at the end, taking responsibility, is massive. And this is a lot like the question of, tell me about, your greatest weakness. You do not want to go the route of a fake positive, like, well, I give too much money to charity and I volunteer too much and I'm a giver. You don't want to go that route. They're looking for self-awareness. They're looking for, can you identify a time when you actually failed and were responsible for that failure? And to Stephanie's point, what did you learn from that? So if at all possible, if you can make this relevant to the job that you're applying for and show how your growth is going to help you in that new job, that's ideal. So if your example is, I took on a project all on my own and I failed to get enough buy-in, and I didn't get stakeholder input, and it resulted in a really terrible implementation. And so what I learned from that was that I have to get buy-in every single step of the way. And so I actually designed my own new process to make sure that I don't fall into this again. And so now I have this checklist that I go down whenever I face a similar problem. So, you can very much turn this into a strength, turn this into, here's how I've improved, and here's how I'm going to bring this new self-awareness and this new knowledge and this new process to my new job. So again, as with all other interview questions, you're going to do yourself a favor if you have a story ready to go. Stories are so much more tangible if you can kind of tell that timeline of, here was the situation, here's what happened, here's what resulted from that star format. That gives a very kind of clear guidepost of walking your interviewer through a question and your answer. So this I understand completely. This is a scary one, but my advice is just treat every interview question the same. Treat them very factually, treat the prep the same way, treat the output the same way, hit your key points, don't talk too long, ask your interviewer if they'd like clarification or additional detail on anything. But as long as you show some self-awareness and some growth, and like Stephanie said, turn it into a positive, this can really help paint you in a good light. Everybody wants to work with someone who is not only self-aware, but takes responsibility and then find something good out of a failure. So this can paint you in a great light. No one is looking for a completely infallible candidate. People are looking for the candidate who can learn from their mistakes and who can grow and who can turn that into something positive. So don't worry about being perfect. You're not perfect. No one's perfect. But you can be the person who grows and brings something great as a result. So hope that's helpful as you prepare for your next interview. Hope this gives you some tips and some guideposts. Please keep tuning in with us. We're going to keep talking about questions and how to navigate the scary job interview, resume prep process, and everything in between. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.